Yeah, so I just graduated from Fisk University. I received my degree in political science and Spanish as a joint major. I do a lot. I just completed an internship on the Hill working for Senator Raphael Warnock. I was the legislative intern that focused on economic, environmental, and education policy. I also run a 501c3 public charity nonprofit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Career Education Learning Center podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Rivers. I am elated and excited to have Kayla Willis on our show today. Kayla is a recent graduate of Fisk University, located in Nashville, Tennessee, and she has got her bachelor's degree, right, in political science and Spanish. How are you doing today, Kayla?
I am great. Thank you, Mr. Rivers, for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Kayla, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your future career path?
Yeah, so I just graduated from Fisk University. I received my degree in political science and Spanish as a joint major. I do a lot. I just completed an internship on the Hill working for Senator Raphael Warnock. I was the legislative intern that focused on economic, environmental, and education policy. I also run a 501c3 public charity nonprofit called the More Than Numbers Program, which is, in the most simplest form, a way to help resolve the educational disparity seen within large metropolitan cities. So right now we have 3 programs going on: a college preparatory program that is helping with high school students as they matriculate from their high school career to their college careers and journeys. We have the Team Members Program, which is to create well-rounded students from HBCUs and Southern schools as they continue towards post-grad life. And then we're starting up a new program called the REACH Program, which is to prepare high school girls as they go throughout their high school career. So once they get to their senior year, they're well-rounded individuals. So I've been doing that for the past 4 years. And I know a lot of people are like, how did you do that in the past 4 years? And you just graduated from college. I was doing it while I was in college. I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Wow. I have been featured in multiple news articles, multiple shows, won many awards. So I've had a pretty impactful, successful career at my young age of 22. But I'm really thankful for being here. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no problem. Thus far, wow. You know, my mom was also an AKA, so I'll let you know that. And she went to HBCU also, North Carolina A&T. So you have a lot in common there.
Wow.
So why did you choose Fisk University? I'm pretty sure you had an array of colleges you could have chosen, universities. Why Fisk?
Well, the first and I guess most impactful reason is that I received a full ride. So I didn't have to pay for anything.
That's very helpful. That is very helpful. Believe me.
But also some of my family's from Tennessee, and some of my family went to Fisk. And I don't know if you know, but John Lewis also went to Fisk. Diane Nash, Nikki Giovanni, and they've made a huge impact on just Black culture and Black life overall. Especially me being from South Fulton, Georgia. Representative John Lewis was my congressman. So a lot of that just kind of pushed me towards a life of advocacy and public service, and knowing that the type of impact that Fisk guys have pushed me towards that. And then also, like I said, my family's from Tennessee. I've known about Fisk. I know how it's one of the Black Ivy League schools. So you know, just a little plug in. So it was definitely one of my top schools, and then the full ride kind of solidified everything for me.
Wow. I went to a community college first, Kayla, because I wasn't as smart and brilliant as a lot of my classmates. But that taught me well when I went to UNC Pembroke, and that was very helpful. So I was staying in North Carolina the whole time, but you went from Georgia to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that experience?
I love Nashville. I love Nashville. I think that as someone in, like, I guess my age range,
yes. Yeah. I don't remember your age, to be honest. I can't even remember being 20-some years old, audience. I can't remember that long ago. So, but I just know that I was young and I could walk and I could run and I had no trouble and I didn't get tired.
Yeah. So someone, I guess, in my generation, we've grown up with access to so much, but a lot of us are limited within our own atmosphere because of, I don't know, maybe fear or just comfortability. I think that if presented with the opportunity to go and experience a whole different world or culture, even in terms of like being in a different state, is definitely a opportunity for students like me to grow, because being in Nashville, although I love the city, it's nothing like Atlanta. But I found so much of myself being at Fisk and being far away from home and having to figure things out by myself, although you'll get that while you're in college, regardless, whether you're 10 minutes down the road or a whole 5, 6, 7 hours.
Yeah, or from like California or somewhere out west. So either way, you'll get that. So was there a big transition from high school to college? Did you notice that educational transition?
Educational transition?
As far as learning the books and everything else, because when I was at home, now you might have adjusted better than I did, but going from where I was, my parents, my mother told me what to do all the time, where to go and stuff, and then once I got off to college, trying to learn that time management and learn how to do things that nobody told me I had to do, right? This is what you're going to do, Mitchell. This is assignment. Nobody's going to make you do it. You have to do it yourself. So, apparently your adjustment went much better than mine.
Well, I think that's just a tell of my type of personality. I'm a very proactive person. So the adjustment was not with academics. I've actually done pretty well with my academics. I don't want to brag. So just know that I've never really struggled in terms of academics. What I struggled with was like making friends, like the social part of it.
Yes.
Because when I got to college, I was not brand new like everybody else. I had just come off the Steve Harvey Show. Everybody kind of knew about me already. So when I arrived to school, I wasn't able to start over like other people were. I was already this girl that people may have had like preconceived notions about, that already claim that they knew me or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So it took me a long time to kind of put that wall down. And then COVID hit. So then that was an adjustment as well too. Being in school, but still, being at home with your parents. And then we went back to school. So that was really more so my adjustment. But I feel like no one else would really be able to understand that unless you were like in the same predicament as me. But yeah.
Yeah, I know the COVID for everyone, man. Everybody had to go to school. I mean, my kids was out of school by then, which is fantastic. And I don't know how parents made it. And you had to make an adjustment, and then your parents had to make an adjustment. Because that dog didn't be gone right there. Here, like, good, she's gone. Good, we got this space to ourselves, or whoever's left. We can deal with them. And then all of a sudden, your kids come back like, oh boy. And then you had to adjust to being online. So your whole generation, all the young people that was in college then, and even people who was doing their graduate degrees, PhDs, or in an apprenticeship just had to stop, that really brought everything to a halt. And so that was a big adjustment for everybody, graduations was different, and it's just an adjustment that we all had to make. And it's good that you made that adjustment. So I talk about internships all the time at the Career Education Learning Center. And you did an internship. Can you tell us a little bit about your internship and that experience that you got from the internship?
Well, which one?
Let's go with the one with the senator that you done up in D.C. there, and then you can also tell us about the restaurants you went to also. But let's start off with the internship first.
So this internship came from a period of being lost. Honestly,
Okay.
I almost ended up moving to Tulsa, Oklahoma for an opportunity. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't get picked for the department that I wanted the most. And I was like, I'm not about to move 11 hours away from home for something that I only halfway want. Mind you, it's like February. I graduated in May.
Okay.
So I'm like, I need to figure out what in the world am I going to do once I graduate? Because I didn't apply to any. I applied to a grad school, but it was an online program and stuff. So I wasn't going to traditional grad school. I didn't have no jobs lined up. I was banking on this idea, and it didn't happen. So I was like, well, if I could do anything, what would I want to do? And the first thing was to work on Capitol Hill. So I was like, okay, I want to work on Capitol Hill. Who would I want to work for? I would want to work for someone for Georgia. So I could have chose a Congress person.
Right.
But I've already worked for a congressperson. I worked for former Representative Jim Cooper my sophomore year for Fall 20. So I was like, well, let's take a stab at one of the senators. So I applied and I got the opportunity to work in Senator Raphael Warnock's office.
Yeah.
And that has probably been the most
impactful.
No, it is impactful.
Was it revealing? Was it revealing more than working with congressmen? Now you're talking about a senator. A senator has a lot of power. Really. I'm from North Carolina, and back in the day, I knew we had Senator Jesse Helms, for better, for worse, okay? And he had a lot of power. So senators has a lot more power than congressmen. And they really separate themselves from everyone else. So that is a totally different, leadership style and totally different office from congressmen. We have 135 congressmen, and you have 52 senators, 50 senators.
You have 100 because it's
100, right? 100, 200 senators, right? And so. But how many senators do you have? I know they got very much power, definitely than congressmen.
Yeah, it was definitely revealing. I learned so much about myself and who I am as a person, and in that short amount of time that I'm just. It's not that it was bad. It was actually phenomenal. It was actually great. But at the same time, I was going through so much outside of just having to be an intern that I was kind of forced to grow up faster than I was ready to. It was like I graduated and then I had May and June to still be a kid. But when I got to DC in July, I was maybe a kid for a couple of days, and then I became this weird adult like that. And it was a lot. It was a lot. But I was able to work on environmental and education policy, which is two areas that is very dear to me. And then economic infrastructure, which is something that I find extremely fascinating in terms of just how, and particularly with our transit systems.
Right.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. At first it was a little challenging, but now when I look back, I'm glad that I had that experience. I made a lot of friends. I made a lot of professional connections, a lot of personal connections, and I wouldn't have traded it for the world, honestly. Some things that happened, I wish didn't happen the way it was. It did happen, but that's just life. Like I said, I was forced to grow up fast.
That's great. As a young person, I was forced to grow up a little bit because what happened was I'm reserve when I went to school, and back in 1991 we had Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and I got called up, and so then I had to grow up real fast. Right now I'm going off to war. And I am really beating myself up in my head, and I'm praying to the Lord, wow, I graduated. I just graduated in December, and I'm going to graduate in December, but halfway through the semester, they called me up, and my charity department, I was a business major, said, Mitchell, if you get over halfway, with the school year, then we're going to win your grades because you're serving your country. And going from being a great, fun time college student to going to war to where it's life and death situation, then, that really made me grow up too. And sometimes those challenges are good in our lives. Sometimes we need that challenge or that interruption to make us grow up even more. We grow up even more and we learn more about ourselves, as you said before. And so I want the audience to know that sometimes, not all the time when you have challenges are they bad. A lot of times we're going to get challenges as a way of growing and learning more about ourselves. And so that was revealed to you, right? You had to learn more about yourself and what you become, right? Because like you said, academics would be easier, but now you have to adjust to the quote, quote, real world. And going to Capitol Hill was the real world. It was very awakening.
Yeah.
And, they don't play it. I mean, they straight nose. And so it really put all your experience, your talents, your past internships that you've done before, it put all that into play. All that you have learned before, Kayla, everything experience, every job, every academic experience, every life lesson that you had, it came into play when you went up there. And that's why I can use to see it through it. And that's great because now with that confidence, when you have challenges in your life in the future, Kayla, you would know how to approach it. You say, look, I had a challenge before and I can beat that challenge again. And so that's the way you handle challenges. So Kayla, let me ask you this. What do you do for fun? What are some of your hobbies? I hear you work hard and you're always studying. What does Kayla do for fun? That's what we want to know.
Okay. So I'm 22, so I love a good happy hour. Happy hour is my jam. I also am an avid bike rider. I love to bike ride. That's like my favorite pastime. It's been like really hot outside, so I haven't rode my bike since I've been back in Georgia because I'm not trying to pass out.
Yes. They call it hot. They'll call it hot Atlanta and hot Georgia down south, but that humidity would beat you down.
Yeah.
That humidity would beat you down. So audience, if you from other parts of the country here or from another country, believe me, in the South, the word is humidity. That word would beat you down. If it may be 90 degrees, that's fine. Oh, that ain't nothing. But that humidity would beat you down. You go take your shower, put your deodorant. If you're outside more than 15, 20 minutes, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. I love tea. I'm a big tea drinker. I love tea.
I do too.
What else do I do for fun? Right now, I'm really in like my relax mode. So I've been listening to a lot of music. I read a lot. I think I'm on like my 6th book of the year.
Oh man! So what's the last book you read, or what one of the titles or last books you read that you want to give us that's really good that you may recommend for our viewers and listeners?
Okay.
Well, you can do a couple books if you want to.
I can see now. Okay, I love to read. The last book I read that was like really, really good was The Opposite of Always by Justin Reynolds. It's about this boy that falls in love with a girl and then the girl dies, right?
Oh man, one of those tragic stories.
And then, but no, get this. He like goes back in time to when he meets her.
Oh.
Yeah, so his life is in like a loop. And like every time like she dies, he just goes back in time. But it tackles so much stuff. Like it tackles like friendship and family dynamics and like race and disease. It's a really good book. I really recommend it. The ending will make you upset because the ending is like what? But that one. And then also both of these books, but the main one is Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl by Joya Goffney. It's about this girl who is a preacher's daughter. It's like she has like this notion or like connotation of like being a good girl, but
yes,
she's kind of in that phase where she's not really trying to listen to her peers right now, and it's really good. So yeah, those are two novels that I would. That I would suggest. Those are the last two that really, like, I think I was hooked.
That is fantastic. Reading is definitely fundamental. I love reading myself, especially coming to a small business. A lot of my mentors said, "Read, Mitchell, read," and I've been reading lately myself. So if we were to talk to you, Kayla, in the next 5 years, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? What are some of your goals that you want to accomplish, or is there something that you really think about doing in the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years? Where do you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years?
In the next 5 years. So right now I'm looking at grad schools. Hopefully I would have graduated from grad school and it would have been for free. So I would have been time debt free student.
That 4-letter word we all love, girl, free. No matter if it's grad school or free donuts. We all know that word free, right?
Yeah. I would probably be working in like a council. So like a councilwoman role, or maybe for like the state as a state representative or a state senator. And those are probably my biggest 2 goals. Another goal that's very personal to me is that my Spanish levels would be more conversational, because I'm good at Spanish, but I'm not really well at speaking it. I'm more so better at reading it and writing it. So I would be conversational at the minimum in Spanish.
So we want to get you to a Spanish country then. And what you need to do, you need to travel. That means vacation time for you, Kayla. You need to take a vacation to a country that speaks Spanish and just immerse yourself into that. And I think if you do that for like 2 or 3 weeks, you'll never forget it.
That's the plan. I'm actually trying to do that next. Like I'm hoping that I can continue to do that because I really want to become fluent in Spanish. Another big personal goal is that my nonprofit would be bigger. We would be able to give out more scholarships to students than we already do. We would have more, we would have more teams and people working on it. Because what I do right now, I don't even get paid for my nonprofit. All the money that we get, that it goes back into the students, whether that's with resources, application aid, or scholarships. So it would be bigger. We would have a more consistent donation flow. We would have more partnerships because at the end of the day, that's what I really want to do. Like I'm hoping in my career that I'm able to work in advocacy and politics while running my nonprofit, because that's my passion. So really those 4 things, I would have my master's, and I would be not in debt, because I never was in debt.
I'm a financial representative by trade. I've been making finance about all my life, Kayla. So yes, I try to teach that myself, financial literacy, financial responsibility. And that's a big one for everyone. Believe me, everyone. So do you have before we leave, do you have any suggestions or advice for young people who want to go, let's go to freshmen. Do you have any advice just for freshmen that's entering this year? Their first year of college?
This year, advice, I would say don't get too caught up in what could be, but like focus on what's now, only because you can have a plan for anything. You can have a plan to the T, and the way life works, that is just not going to work. So I would say really focus on what is going on for you right now. I'm not saying like just disregard the future, like still have goals and stuff for yourself. But, like if you're not doing well in a class, like try to get your grade up in that class. Don't think, oh, let me change my major because I'm not doing well in math, like stuff like that. Or if you're having you want to do something and the next, you can't afford it. It's just little small things that as a freshman, I wish I didn't beat myself up about, because I was too focused on the future and not enough focused on what was going on right now in the present day. Another thing that I would say in terms of academics is just turn it in. Turn it in.
Yeah, we all had to learn that, right? It's not like in high school where, okay, well, we give you a couple of days here and there. When that professor say turn it in, they want it in. If you got something, on that computer, you need to be in by 12 a.m., you better have it in by 11:59, even 11:59, but you better have it in, correct?
People don't understand. If you turn it in, there's a higher chance for you to be able to redo it and get a better score. But if you don't turn it in at all, it just makes you look, it's kind of like credit, right? If you pay like your credit card bill and stuff, then it shows, even if you paid off a little bit, it shows that you're at least trying to pay to work for something better. But if you don't pay paid at all, the bank is going to look at you like, what's going on? That's the same way with the teachers. Just turn it in and send an email like, hey, I tried my best. I just couldn't figure out X, Y, and Z. I couldn't get to Elemento. Like, I just need, can I have an extension to try to do better? The teacher's like, oh my gosh, yes, of course, blah, blah, blah. Or there'll be a period towards the end of the semester where you can redo whatever. Just turn it in, you guys. Like, me just being able to turn stuff in is the reason why, half of the reason why I'm so successful now, because I just turn stuff in. So yeah, that's my 2 pieces of advice. Focus on the now and try not to stress about the future and turn it in. That's some personal academic advice for me.
Well, Kayla, it has been a joy having you on my podcast today. We have learned so much from you, and it's been just thrilling for me. Just know that young people like you are still here trying to do the best, not only for yourself, but for the community at large. And that is fantastic. Now, if someone would get in contact with you or want to ask you questions, whether it's about Fisk University or about your nonprofit, how can they get in contact with you on social media?
My Instagram is kay.willis, spelled Willis, and the number 1. That's my Instagram for me personally. In terms of my nonprofit, you can find us at MTN Youth Program. That's our organizational Instagram. We also have a website, www.mtnyouthprogram.com, and all of our, ordeals and endeavors and business stuff can be found there. Also, I can be reached at my work email, which is Kayla Willis at mtnyouthprogram.com. I was going to get my other work email, but I don't think I want people to have it.
Okay. Don't worry about that, Kayla. We're going to have all the information on our website and any social media the outlets that we use for this podcast. So don't worry about that. If they didn't get it here today, they're going to have obtained that with the information we give them. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Definitely. Well, Kayla, I hate to end this podcast. It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. I love young people. My mama passed that on to me because she used to love young people. She was a community college teacher, and she's always stressed how she loved young people, how they keep her young. And so I'm just following in her footsteps. But thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you for the invitation. This was very fun.
And I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners for joining me, Mitchell Rivers, on the Career Education Learning Center podcast, where we're making your career dreams a reality. God bless.